Today I'm going to teach you how to take care of your FPV Lipo batteries. Okay, we're going to do this quick. It's going to be simple, and you're going to be able to use this for the taking care of your batteries, how to fly them, how to charge them, what to do with them, and all that lovely stuff. Okay, so let's start right now. We're going to start off with the simple rule of divide your mAh by 1,000, and that's how you will know how many amps to charge your batteries with. So regardless of what it is, here we have a 6S 1300 mAh, so this would be charged at divided by 1,000, 1.3, 1 amp 0.3, and that is what you would charge that at. Then with a 850, what would you charge that at? Divided by 1,000, 0.85, so 0.9. 750, 0.750. It's very easy. Anything that is under 1,000 mAh, you just add a dot to it, so point that of an amp, if that makes any sense. And now when you charge these, the number one rule that you got to know is you don't ever mix 6S with 4S. You don't ever mix 3S with 4S. You don't ever mix 2S with 4S. You stay in the family.
I got family.
That's the only way you're going to keep your family safe.
So if these were all 6S packs, we could actually charge them all together regardless of their size, as long as they're all 6S packs. If these are all 4S packs, we can charge them all together as long as they're 4S packs. Now, when we charge them all together, I always do this on a parallel charge board. So yeah, I can take up to 6 4S batteries, I can plug them all into here, and I can charge them all together. But what we have to pay attention to is the average cell voltage. When you plug in one of these batteries into this, one at a time, usually your charger, if you got a good charger, you want at least basically one of these or the newer model, because this one has like a button that's kind of annoying. So I'll leave a link for the newer model of one of these. But basically you plug the battery in, it's going to show you the cell voltage for each cell. So if any of the cells are not around the same, so let's say it says like 3.8, 3.8, 2.5, that means that one of the cells is no good. So maybe try checking it on another plug just to make sure that your plugs are okay, because sometimes the plugs can be bad, and I'll show you in another video how to fix that. Yeah, always plug in, check the cells, make sure they're all about the same, and don't ever charge them if the cells have different readings. Now, if they're off by a slight little bit, that's fine, but they want to be generally mostly the same. Now, the moment that you start parallel charging batteries, that's another thing you have to do. You have to plug them in, pay attention. Okay, so this one has all its cells at 3.8. This one has its cells at 4. We don't really want to charge those together. Just to stay safe, in general, I won't charge anything that's over... Okay, so 3.5, I would charge it with something up to 3.6, but if it's 3.7, then I probably wouldn't. If they're off by more than like a round number, like, okay, so 3.5 and then 3.9, that's a little far apart, but let's say it's 3.4 and 3.5, or 3.5, 3.6, 3.4, 3.5. If it's just 1 point away, anything within that kind of range, I'll still be able to charge them together. If it's past that, what I'll do, or even if you're going to charge 4 batteries together, first you plug them in to check to make sure that the voltage is right, that nothing's wrong with the cells. Then I'd plug all 4 of them, or all 3, or however many together. I'd let them sit for a few minutes, and what that does is it allows them to balance themselves on their own. And then after they've sat sitting together without charging for like, let's say 15 minutes, then I know they're pretty balanced, and then I can charge them all together. Now, when charging them all together in a setup like this, you're going to add the mAh together. So let's say that these are 800 mAh batteries. So usually, what would we charge an 800 mAh battery at? We would charge it at 0.8 amps. Now, if we have 4 of them, we add the 8 with the 8, which is 16, and then we add the 16 with the 16 together, and now we have 24. So we have 2400 mAh, so what are we going to charge that? Divided by 1,000, or just know automatically that it's 2.4 amps. So now you can charge all 4 batteries together at 2.4 amps, because when you plug them into the parallel charger, it treats them all as if they're one big battery. So you'd have to add all that MAW and be able to do it that way, and you will be A-okay. Now, when you, let's say you're in a rush and you don't want to charge it that slow, the most you can charge however you want, but the moment you go faster and more, it's a little harsher on the batteries, it can be more damaging, and it can be a little bit more risky. Make sure that anytime you're charging your batteries, you know, I like to charge them before I go fly. So I'm going to fly, start charging them, have them here in the room where I am, do my stuff in the room, and if I hear any crackling noises or something, it's time to unplug those batteries. Never charge batteries unattended unless you're doing it in a fireplace or somewhere totally like fireproof. Okay, what else? The process is the same with 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S batteries. Same thing all the time. You just divide them all by 1,000 and you know how much to charge them. Okay, so the most that I would charge more than that is double it. So whatever the amperage is that's recommended, you could double that to charge them faster, but then there's, you know, it's a little bit less stable. You probably won't have any problems, but usually the only time I'll do that is, let's say I'm in a rush. And the thing that causes them more problem than just charging quick or, you know, charging them too quick or whatever, is keeping the power inside them. You charge them, you use them, and then they're good. You put them at storage and they're fine. But you don't want to be charging batteries and then not flying them. You don't want to charge them the night before you're going to go out. Charge them just before you go out, and that's how you're going to have the best use out of your batteries. Now when it comes to flying them, okay? You can fly them, and it says, what does this even say? Store long term at 3.8. What does it say not to go below? It doesn't tell you not to go below. But in general, lots of people seem to fly to like about 3.5. If you fly them to 3.6, you're going to have the best performance out of them. Land at 3.6 and they'll recover to 3.8. So I like doing that. So I never put my batteries to storage voltage because I fly them to 3.6 and then usually they go back to 3.8 and then they're already at storage voltage for me. And that way maybe I don't get to fly as much as if I flew them to 3.5 or past that, but I get the best performance, the best flight, and I'm taking better care of them. So I'd suggest doing that, especially with like 4S, 3S, like the bigger, more powerful batteries. I would fly them to 3.6, land them, and they'll recover. Now I'm also freestyling, so I'm pushing them. I'm not going gently and taking them down to 3.6. I'm ripping my packs and I'm having a great time. So when you're going harder, it's going to suck more and recover more. So when you land at 3.6, after totally ripping it, it is going to recover to 3.8. If you are a gentle, jolly cruiser or long-range pilot and you're flying gently and you get to 3.6 and then land it, it might not recover as well. So that's something else to consider. If you are going to store them, and let's say you are then going to charge them to storage, then you will put them to 3.8. And another thing, anytime you want, you can actually plug them all together and balance them out like that too. So let's say you came back home and you had 3 batteries at like 3.6 and 1 at 3.9. You could put them all together in the parallel board and let them just balance each other out, and then they'll all be closer to 3.8 storage. When it comes to 1S batteries, it's a little bit different because they don't go on these boards. They need different chargers and stuff, but I don't know if I'll do a video for that. Basically, I fly them down to about 3.2. So usually with these 3.5 and I land. With the whoops and stuff, I'll fly them to 3.2, then I'll start bringing them back and I'll charge them to storage and just leave them at 3.8. So they're actually a little bit more tedious to deal with, not as good flight times and just not as good in general. I love my 4S, I fly 4S, and I got a 6S 5-inch racer that I'm going to test out sometime. But to this day, basically, I just fly sub 250 4S rippers. I designed my own drone, the Discus. You can check out in the description below. You can order one, buy one to help support me, or join my Patreon. And yeah, if there's more things you want to learn about or stuff, or have more questions about batteries, feel free to ask in the comments below. I do my best to respond to everyone. I love this hobby and all the great people in it. So thanks for watching this. I really hope it was helpful for you. And it just gave you everything that I wanted to know and had to learn. And that's what I try to do. I try to teach you stuff kind of quick, as fast as possible, and respect your time, okay? Woo! Thank you.